These dinosaurs I've made around a Twinkie sponge, and you can get these in America, or if you can bake little sponge cakes that you can actually cover that are about this size. You can get tins that have got moulds this size. Something about that size is perfect. Now what we're going to do is, this is a lovely one to do with the children again. So we take our little sponge cake and I'm going to just jam it all over with boiled apricot jam so it will stick the icing. Lovely. Roll out your icing quite thinly. You don't want this to be too sickly, so get it as thin as you can without it being too transparent. And we're going to, first of all, before we put it on, we want to give him a tail. So I've rolled out the icing, it's ready to go over, but before we put it over, if I just get a ball of icing and I shape it into a pointy tail shape. So it's like a triangular shape or a cone shape like that. And the size of the icing would be a size C. So if you're using your guide to sizes, size C tail into a cone, flatten the end, and then stick it just there at the end of his body. And then when you cover him, that will cover the tail as well. So we now cover him all over with our blue icing. Push it in neatly around the edges and then cut off. All the way around, tuck the little edges under there, just with the side of your knife or a palette knife. And if you want, before his tail starts to dry, you can kind of curl it one way or another, so he's actually got a bit more movement to him. Now we need a ball of icing size B, and this is going to be the head. So hold a ball over circle B, if it's the right size. Shape it into a long cone shape, like that. And what we now do is we stick that under his chin, so to speak, so it kind of goes under there, goes up, and bends forward. And there you have his little face. Now before his face starts to dry, you want to give him a mouth. So using a knife or a palette knife, slice, but I'm sawing as I do it. So I'm going backwards and forwards and then open it up and he's got an open mouth. His legs are going to be size E. Shape them into a long teardrop shape again, just like the same shape you made for the face, and stick one each side at the top of his body. And then the other two at the back, just before the tail starts. So what you have at that stage is your dinosaur, like that. He now wants to have some little markings on each of his feet, so just use a cocktail stick or a toothpick, and 3 little markings there. Lovely. Now what you can do now, you can actually press little round balls of icing onto him, but if you have royal icing made up, it's quite useful just to pipe them instead. So on this one I've actually got little balls of yellow icing. I put a little bit of sugar glue in odd little places on him, and then I pressed on the little ball of icing and squashed it to make little buttons. But if you've got some coloured icing, you could do it this way instead. You could easily pipe little blobs, which is actually a lot quicker. Leave the column along the top of his back bare, because that's where you're going to have his little spines. So there he's got his little spots. Now you want some royal icing in a star tube that's the same colour as your dinosaur. So what I have here is I've got like a turquoise colour royal icing, and I'm going to pipe blobs all around his neck and all down the back. Then you want to take your little coloured buttons, these little candy melts, Renshaw's candy melts, yellow ones. You can use any colour you want, or you could just use chocolate buttons if you wanted. And I'm going to put them all the way down the back, the spikes like that. And then you want to cut about 3 of them in half. And those go pointing forward like that, like a spiky collar. Right round his neck. Yeah. Now to finish him off, what you want to do is you want to pipe some eyes. I pipe my eyes with a big blob of white, and then I've used a little blob of black just below that. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can always give him teeth. So you've got your piping bag here with your white in, and if you wanted to pipe little teeth, oh, that one's a bit long, there we are. You can do little sharp teeth all around his mouth. And there you have your Twinkie or your sponge cake dinosaurs.